There can be a bit of mystique around boards, and I hope that this book will answer some of the questions that people have about what it is that boards actually do and how they do it, and I guess most importantly, why they do what they do. I am a lawyer by training, so I've worked in private practice and in community-based law at a community legal centre for a number of years. I'm also a trained mediator and again have worked privately but also in tribunals. And I have also, for some years I taught in the law school at the University of Melbourne, a subject called dispute resolution, part of which was all around negotiation and mediation, skills that are very handy, I have to say, for anyone going onto a board. But for the last 15 years or so, I've been involved as a director and a board chair within the faith-based not-for-profit sector. Well, probably there are three reasons why I wrote it. I guess I have felt a bit of frustration at times about the way people interpret the concept of governance. Sometimes people have a bit of an inclination to see governance as being just about systems, but governance is also, or it should also be, about people and relationships. And in fact, I have a bit of a motif in the book about that governance is relational. So that was one thing. I feel that we need to focus on the relationship side of that a bit more. Also, I would have really liked to have had this book when I first started on boards. When you start, these are the questions that I had, and that's the book's style is a question and answer style. And all of these questions are questions that I had when I started down this path myself. So I kind of hope that that might be helpful to other people as well, who are new to this area. And thirdly, I also hope that for people who are much more experienced directors, there might be something in it for them, because we all, as directors and as chairs, some of the things we do really well, and other things we do badly. And I tell stories of my own experiences of both of those things. And it's fair to say we probably learn a lot more from the things that we do badly. I certainly have. And I thought, I hope that there might be something in there for experienced directors that, may perhaps be of interest to them too. Without question, the question that I am most often asked about governance is, what is governance? There's just real confusion about that. And actually that's a big part of the reason for this book as well, to just answer that really basic question, what is it? This is one that I had to think about quite a lot, actually. And if I had to give one simple and short answer, I suppose I would say not really. But if I was giving a fuller answer to that, I would say that for any organisation that is a not-for-profit, and as not-for-profits, we're working to, in some ways, serve the community. So we're not only looking at, so governance, we all know that governance is really important for things like how the finance is managed, have we got strong risk management processes and all of those things. That is really important. But within the not-for-profit sphere, we're also looking at why are we here? Who are we serving? Why and how are we doing this? And that's our mission. So we also need to have governance processes that support mission. And for those people who are working within the faith-based sector, our mission generally has grown out of that faith tradition, or out of a faith tradition. And so I guess the difference might be that when we look at our mission, we're looking at a whole history of people and work that have gone before us. And so we have this process called formation, which is really looking at the culture and theology and tradition of the faith that our mission has come out of. And so the way that we use that is, for example, at the start of our meetings, we'll normally have time for prayer or personal reflection. And then a couple of times a year, we'll probably have a bit more intensive work on formation, which again it's actually a governance process that supports mission. And mission is actually what we are all about. There is an order to the book. So I guess as I was writing it, I was imagining people just picking it up and reading it, through from cover to cover as one normally might. But because it is a question and answer format, it's also very easy to just dip into whatever sections might be relevant to you at a particular point in time. So the chapters are things like, if you're thinking of joining a board, what questions should I ask? Or what happens if I can't stand another board member? So, it's the kind of thing that you really can just dip into chapter by chapter as it suits you. And the other thing that I would really like to mention is that at the back of the book, there are some really beautiful poems, prayers and reflections by Michael McGurr. And they are some religious, some not religious, and they are designed to be used at the start of a board meeting. I hope that people coming on to boards for the first time will benefit from reading it. I hope it will answer a lot of the questions that I had when I was a brand new director. And they're probably who I had in mind the most at the time that I started writing the book. But as time went on, I thought actually I would hope that it might also be useful to more experienced directors, perhaps different perspectives on the sort of things that crop up for all of us at different times, and particularly in the ways that we can go about grounding our mission and finding governance processes to support mission, as well as supporting all the other things that we need governance processes for. The other people that I hope might actually find it useful are anyone who has to deal closely with boards. So people in senior management, certainly faith and mission people. I found at one point I was chatting to a woman who's in a management role, and she was asking me what the book's kind of about. And I said, it's got chapters like, is mission more important than governance? And who actually runs the place, the board or the executive director? And she said, I don't actually know the answers to those questions. So again, I think that comes down to that sort of sense of mystique about what happens behind the boardroom door. So I hope it might be helpful to a range of people. I really enjoyed the process of writing this book. I hope that it encourages people who might be thinking about becoming a board director and might be a little bit concerned about what they might do. I hope it might encourage them to give it a try and perhaps give them a little bit of confidence to know that we all have skills that can be used in this way. I also hope that as I've mentioned earlier, it demystifies a bit what boards are about. And I guess the last thing I really hope is that it just helps boards in finding ways to keep mission at the heart of everything we do, because mission is the reason that we're there.